This happens to be the next game PCB in the repair queue. This is MAME. There's no sound in MAME for this. This is about impossible to play with a keyboard and mouse. Boxing bugs. Alright guys, welcome back. Here is the next job on the bench. This is a Boxing Bugs board set from Cinematronics. This is an extremely rare, extremely valuable board set. And I just happen to have one here. I have all of the connections printed off because I got to wire this all up. I actually have the perfect setup for this as far as voltages and stuff, and it uses my Wells Gardner monitor. So we'll be able to hook this up perfectly properly, which would be great. Yeah. Really cool. Boxing Bugs. It uses the standard Cinematronics C CPU board, except it has a ton of jumperage on it. And this one is really nicely factory done. Yeah. It's really nicely done. Yeah, so we will go ahead and I got to do a wiring harness for this thing. First and foremost, get it to where I can wire it up. And we'll go from there. This consists of, the C CPU board, a ROM board. This is the audio board. This big board is the audio board. And this is the color, the color monitor interface, color XY interface. Yep. Because with regular Cinematronics games, the signals that were created on this board were sent right to the monitor. All this was on the monitor. All the DACs and stuff like that was on the monitor chassis. So they had to make this board to interface to that monitor. So pretty cool. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and let me create a wiring harness, and we'll be back. All right, I have constructed at least power. Okay, I got power going everywhere. I got connectors for the other two boards, and this leads out to a volume pot. So I've got to come up with a plug for the the X out and the X out, the Y, the red, green, blue, ground, all that. I haven't done that yet. But what I am doing is I put power to this CPU board with the ROM board on it. Because what I know about Cinematronics stuff is when you put power to the board, this light will flash off to let you know that the board's working. And you can see this LED is on. That means it is not working. I'll look into that a little bit. I don't know exactly about this particular setup of board with this, but I would assume that it's the same, where it'll flash. It'll flash off if it's working, and it's not. So there are a lot of points of failure. These sockets are absolute garbage. These red sockets. There's another one up here. There's quite a few of those. There's actually, these sockets under these are not good. The sockets under those are not good. These sockets are not good. This socket is terrible. You know, so there's a lot of points of failure on this thing, to be honest. So I think before I start even doing any troubleshooting, I want to get this board working before. I don't need to hook anything else up to this. Yeah, I don't need to hook anything else up to this until this is working. So I think what I am going to do, and I pray that these cables are good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and replace a bunch of sockets and that kind of stuff. Just do a general looking over of this thing. And I need to look at the manual a little bit, and I just want to verify that, but I am pretty sure it's the Cinematronics stuff. That light will go off. As soon as you turn the power on, it'll come on, and then it goes off, and that means the board's working. So yeah, this one doesn't work yet. So, alright, well, I got some work to do. I'm going to take it apart and do some freshening up on this thing. Yep, just noticed this. Taking it apart, this cable has a broken pin. So, that's not good. So I'll have to come up with a fix for this. Alright. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun is blaring. There is a field right out that way, and they are having a party, which sounds like a bunch of girls, like young girls or something, like high school or maybe even middle school aged party. It's crazy. It's so loud, and there's just, you can just hear the girls screaming. I mean, it's cool, but anyway. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it. Anyway, I went through and I wanted to document this. So that's what I did. I went through and I scoured this board, and there's only, technically there's 5 trace cuts. Right here is the main one. Let me get my glasses. Right here. See that right there? That's really the only trace cut on this board. The other ones are separating, just separating pin 21 from ground. See, on all of these guys? Because they're using 2732s, and this board was not made for 2732s, and that's actually an addressing line. So they're addressing that, and they're daisy chained all pin 21s over to this guy. I've got this all documented right here. I've got a schematic drawn. There's your EPROMs, and a little asterisk there says cut pin 21 trace to ground. And they're all chained, and they go over to this guy, pin 5. Yeah. I think it's pretty followable. And pin 12 to pin 3 over here, there is 2 wires to pin 12, so it is pin 12 here and here. I just did that to make it easy. And then those come over and they go to this guy. Yeah. That's it. And then this is where it says, you know, cut that trace from H10 pin 7. That's that trace that's cut. And I have detailed, you know, a sheet detailed here, you know, of what's going on. So I just wanted to document this. I'm gonna scan these 2 sheets into a PDF, and I'm gonna upload them onto my Patreon page for safekeeping. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and do that. Document that. I've got the socket tops pulled off of here. I'm going to replace these. I've got the socket tops pulled off of this guy. I'm going to replace those. And I'm going to end up replacing all of these red sockets as they suck. This socket was replaced, and luckily it wasn't done badly. I mean, it's not super clean, but there's no broken traces or nothing like that. So yeah, so this is all factory. All this modding is factory, so it's survived without being pulled up, which is pretty cool. So I'll replace these sockets. I have cleaned the 181s. I've cleaned the legs on the 181s, and I've tested them. They're good. They're all good. So I'm going to replace all those sockets. These are the only ones I'm not replacing because nothing plugs into those guys. So I'm going to replace these guys, all the red ones on here, and clean the board up a little bit, of course, and replace those guys. And then we can start troubleshooting on this thing. And I will have to figure something out about that broken pin. I think what I'm going to have to do is just run a jumper wire. I don't know what else to do, so I'll probably just have to do a jumper. It's ugly, but it'll work. Yeah, so. Alright, that'll be next. Alright, Boxing Bugs is reconditioned. I replaced all those red sockets. I replaced these sockets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. I got the back all cleaned up. Yeah, everything's all good to go and squared away. Cleaned this hole up really good. It's looking good. I've replaced these 2 sockets and this one. And good news, remember this is missing a pin. That is pin 9 on this thing. You know, it's this corner right up here, pin 9. And pin 9 is not connected to anything. It doesn't do anything. So we're going to be okay with that. Yeah, there's no connection on pin 9. So we're good to go. That should be okay. So we have to make sure that we use it. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. It depends on how it orientates. If we use it like this, it's going to go like this. I think it goes like this. And if that's true, then it is going to be okay. Because this way it actually is pin 9. And pin 9 doesn't matter. Yeah. It's okay. Very good. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing back together and see where we get. Alright, I've got it all hooked back up and turned on, and the light is still on, which tells me that we have an issue of some sort. Yeah. Alrighty, well, we'll figure it out. Okay. Alrighty, well, we'll have to start doing some troubleshooting. No big deal. Alright, well, it's a no-go on this stuff. I can't figure anything out on that, but I just decided, since we have some RAM here, we have 2101 RAMs here. So I was like, you know what? For S's and G's, let's just jump RAM over this and see what happens. So let's turn it on. You know, we got our red light of death. That light should momentarily flash and then go off when this thing is running right. So if I take this and I just kind of jump, any difference? Nah, still red light of death. How about this one over here? Nope. How about this one in the middle? Well, look at that. The red light went off. Now I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to turn it back on and watch. See that? Let's do it again. And on. Flashes and goes off. That's what it's supposed to do. So even though this RAM doesn't look bad, I think it's bad. The one in the middle. So let's look at the output bits on that thing. You know, I mean, they're just outputting. There's one. There's one. There's one, and there's one. But if I jump it, the minute that I jump it, that light goes off. So I think what I want to do is remove all three of these, test all three of them, and socket right here. I really like the idea of socketing memory, especially RAM. So we'll pull these guys and we'll have all of the memory socketed on this board. All of these ROM chips are socketed and these guys will be socketed. But I think this is our problem right here. If I jump it, the light goes out, which means it's running. Yeah, so let's go ahead and remove these three guys. Alright, and just got done with my Inquisitor. This thing had 2 bad RAMs and 1 good RAM. And I've got nice new sockets in place. Yep, 2 bad RAMs. So we'll put a couple more good RAMs in it and see what we get. Okie dokie. We've got our 2 new RAM in, and the 1 remaining that was good. Got it all hooked up, and let's watch the light, and I'm going to turn it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And there you go, folks. This baby's working now. Very, very good. This board set is super clean now. We got good sockets everywhere. All of the memory is socketed. These 2 sockets have been replaced. The sockets underneath here, these guys. A nice cleaned up board. So we're going to go ahead and move on. I'm going to end this video right here. The next one will be, I guess, just putting on the you know, the soundboard, the interface board. I got to make a harness to interface to my Wells Gardner. And, well, this part is done. Nice. All right. We will see you on part 2.